It's a new show.
Yes. On Sunday.
On Sunday. It's the Morning
Yeah.
Brew and the Near Do Wells Morning Brew. When I was naming this, I was like, oh, okay, I'll name it that. And then I looked and there's actually a Morning Brew. So I got to say Near Do Wells Morning Brew because there's already a Morning Brew. Did you know that?
Full disclosure now, because,
Yeah.
the logo and the name, I do not live in Texas. Just so you know, I do not live in Texas.
Oh, come on.
Truth in advertising.
Hey, Mahoney's there. Hey guys. Hey, Mr. Mahoney. I am Poe, and I'm joined by Grandpa the Nerd, Paul Rasso, and we will have Joey. Hopefully sometime this morning. He's cooking breakfast right now, so he said he'll join us. And I got some subjects I want to talk to him about because he's our conspiracy guy, so I want to bring some stuff up. But yeah, we new show, new broadcast platform. You'll every Sunday we'll be here on our Facebook group, Near Do Wells Tavern on YouTube, and our Facebook page. So you'll be able to see that. And the audio versions will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. But before I get into any more, go ahead.
Not just this show. Don't forget you guys' show with Tyree will be the same thing.
Yes, same thing. I believe we got something for Tuesday. So we'll be, I want to say Tuesday. I think we're going to keep it like that because it works out for everybody. And of course, I think it works out for Cody best as well. Hey, we got Joey T in the chat and a Facebook user saying, good morning, bro. Well, good morning to you, sir, whoever, or ma'am, whoever you are. And I do want to say Grandpa's playlist is alive and well. And your trailer, when's your trailer drop? Yesterday?
Yeah, I dropped it yesterday afternoon. It's just like it's a 20-minute trailer, but my part's only like 5 minutes. But I got some songs to give everybody a little taste of kind of the music I'm going to play. So that made it longer. Because when I put it together, it said, when you put it together, it only gives you 30-second clips, sound samples of the songs. So
okay.
I looked at it and it said, like 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I'm like, cool. And then when I posted, I'm like 20 minutes. They screwed up, but I forgot to give you the whole song. And I kind of like the way the podcasts work when you put them together the way that you do, because I noticed that you can skip. So like if somebody's listening to me and they're on there, on the app and they're like, oh, I hate this song. You can slide past the individual song to the next one. So I thought that was really cool. So I do like the way Anchor or Spotify now, I like the way they have it set up to where, it's great. And then it gives royalties to the users. It's now no one can be mean, be like, oh, I'm going to report them for stealing music. It's like, no, Spotify gave it to me to use, my man. So I like it.
No, it sounds great. And I think it sounds a lot crisper too, using how they did that was interesting with Spotify, where they let you do your own radio type show. And then you just pick the songs you want. And that way the artists get paid and everything. So that's pretty cool. Oh, the Facebook user's my brother.
Okay.
Oh, incognitus. Why are you incognitus? Mahoney wants the trailers. Send it.
Yeah, I'm sending it.
Send it. Well, first subject we're going to get into. Old Lance Reddick. He died. Star John Wick and The Wire. He was on other stuff too. He always played that serious type character. I don't think he ever was in a comedy.
The first thing I ever saw him in was he had a small role. The wife and I used to love. She hated it because the way it ended, but we used to love Oz on HBO.
Yes.
And he played an undercover cop who was there to find drugs. And they got him hooked on drugs because to make it look like he was actually a convict, he had to do drugs. So he got hooked on drugs. I can't remember the name of the character who was like the big baddie. He wore his hat. He barely wore his hat on his head. You could never understand how it never fell off. I can't remember his name, but he was He was the African guy he had the accent. I can't remember his name.
Oh God, I can't remember him either.
But he got him hooked on drugs. And then when they all found out that he was undercover cop, they threw him down an elevator shaft or a stairwell somewhere.
Oh,
so he had like a 4 or 5 episode arc on Oz. And then I saw him, and after Oz, he was on The Wire, and that's when I was like, okay, this guy's great. And he was on Fringe, that show that was on Fox.
That's the other show. I couldn't think of the other show. Yeah, you're right. He was on that one.
Yeah, he was a great actor. And when it said he died of natural causes, I was like, the fuck? Well, what kind of rich celebrity dies of natural causes at 60? You know what I mean? Betty White lived to be almost 100. How did he? It made me sad.
It is sad, and that seems to be a theme. Where they died suddenly. So here it is. Seems to be going around.
Maybe I give my shot
don't know.
Back. Come get your vaccine out of my body, please.
Get out of it. Like it's an alien form. Okay, I'm going to bring this up because it's driving me insane. That remember how we always make fun of like Amityville, this and that, and now thanks to Cocaine Bear, there's so many ones. So here's this one. Crack Coon. And I started thinking, I'm like, what other ones could we do? And I came up with one. It's a no brain president.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no brain president. So, oh my God, that guy.
Come on, man.
I know. I don't know if you saw it on the news, but they were like, they showed him coming off a plane, and it's a young guy or person wearing a romper, and they're like, what is this person coming off of Air Force One with Biden? Why does he have that person on there? And I still haven't heard an explanation to it. Have you seen the video?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, everybody's been making a big deal about it. They're like, what the hell is he doing? I have a new PC Penguin. Yes, we need to do that. PC Penguin. I mean, it's just going to go from there, man. It's going to be annoying like the Amityville stuff, I think. So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know what's I don't know what's that guy. I may not have liked the other one, but I don't like this one either. So it's like, I don't know. He is.
Yeah.
He I think if they did an MRI, it's probably all dead looking.
Oh, dude. Yeah, and then they're saying he's going to run
asleep on the wheel.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want the other guy running, but I don't want him running either. Like, dude, you can't find, there's got to be better apples in that barrel, man. You need to start looking. Check. You can't just it's the one on the top. Fuck it. You can't. Some Democrats need to come out and like, no, we're gonna run. We're gonna. This whole. Well, I've always thought it was wrong. We're gonna back our guy. We're not gonna go to the primaries and no. If you're part of the party, either one, and you don't like the guy who's in charge of your party at the moment, the job he's doing, there's nothing wrong with you trying to take his job. I mean, It happens in the real world. Oh, this guy's an idiot. I'm out for his job. You know what I mean? It's like don't.
Well, it really, when it comes down to it, it's who they can control and who they have stuff. I mean, they have a lot on this guy. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
but the one thing that I do think is interesting, if you look at him from, even 8 years ago, he looks totally different now. Like his nose, everything. It's weird. It's freaking weird. Like, that's why everybody questions if that's the real him. Like, is that the real Biden?
I know how the body works, and your skin shrinks and tightens, and your skull, you can see more of your skull. He's just getting old and skinny. And a lot of people who suffer from Alzheimer's tend to do that. They tend to, shrink up like a raisin. So I mean, what he's going through is normal. It's just he shouldn't be president.
I guess.
I'm just saying.
Fentanyl ferret. We got some more. Keep them coming. Fentanyl ferret. The ferret starts attacking someone and just dies. Oh my god. Another thing I saw that I thought was interesting. This is a movie that's going to be, I guess, coming out or being made. But what do you think of Guillermo del Toro taking on Frankenstein? And they actually got good actors attached to that.
I'm sure it will be 10,000 more times more better than when, Tom Cruise's Mummy. That was terrible.
That was atrocious.
Guillermo del Toro is, I know a lot of people might agree, some might disagree, but I think he's got his hand on that kind of thing. I don't think he could make a good slasher film or anything, but he likes the psychological stuff and he likes the classic horror. So, I mean, there hasn't really been any movies that he's done that I didn't like that one that he won the Oscars for, where the woman fell in love with that monster in the tank. But I'm not a romantic guy. I didn't know if you were aware of that. So,
yes,
I slap and tickle, that's it. But I don't like, romance, chocolates, flowers. That's for the birds. So I didn't like this, whatever something of the water. I don't know what it's called, but he did Blade 2 and, Pan's Labyrinth. So he makes great films. So I think he'll do a good job with Frankenstein, because the only romantic part in there is when he drowned the little girl, and I don't think you can mess that up. So,
no, you can't. Well, and I did like who did the one with Robert De Niro? Who did the Frankenstein? Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Who did that?
Wasn't that Kenneth Branagh who did Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
I think so. And that was actually a pretty good movie.
I'm about to look.
Well, Guillermo put his little flavor on it, so it'll be weird, just like his other stuff.
Yeah, it will be. But I mean, he does. Like I said, he does. I think he does a great job. Yeah, Kenneth Branagh was the one who directed that one. He was in it too. He played Frankenstein. So yeah, that was a decent one.
Oh man!
I mean, nothing will top the original for me. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a grumpy old man. But the first one was just like, you're a kid. I was in amazement. I thought, man, this looks great. Being a little kid. And it never scared me per se, but I just liked it. I tried to read the novel. Then the novel's like a totally different beast than the movies, so I couldn't get into the novel. It's just not.
Yeah, I did. With that particular character, that novel is probably very long and very wordy until it gets to Frankenstein's creature being created. But yeah. I know I read Bram Stoker's Dracula. I read that, and that was actually pretty cool. I was actually into it, but I think what also helped is I saw the movie before I read the book, so I could picture the characters. If I'm just reading something and I have nothing to go off of, I just, you know what I mean? I can't do it.
Right. I do have a problem with reading. My reading helps. I'm better at reading when there's pictures. You know what I mean? like
a
comic book, comic books, coloring book, naked ladies. I'm okay reading that kind of
stuff. Oh man. I'm the same way.
It's like I'm the kind of guy that gets bored reading Penthouse Forum. You know what I mean? Like, don't give me words. Show me pictures. Show me
do this.
My wife, she can read a story and have 20 orgasms by the time the book's done. I need pictures. I'm sorry. I need pictures.
Yeah, those romance novels and shit. Yeah.
No, my wife don't read no romance novels. She reads them dirty, perverted stories.
Oh no. Let's see. I better Cody. I read better in That's right, and so do we. And that's why we work well together.
I sign all my contracts in crayon.
Dude, did you? Here's another story. I thought this was fucked up. Hadn't this guy been through enough? Look at this. Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen brutally attacked outside hotel. Why are you attacking a one-armed man?
I don't know, but if you remember correctly, back in the 90s, he beat up his wife. They were in an airport. He got mad. He smacked her around, and he dragged her into the bathroom, all with one arm.
No shit.
So
with one arm? This is
yeah. You can look it up. He attacked his wife. Of course, nobody's brought that up, and he hasn't been #canceled yet. Because Lord forbid something you did 20 years ago when you were, he was probably high on something because that was back in the day. I'm not excusing for what he did. I'm just saying there's probably an explanation for what he did. But he did, but he's older now, so maybe he couldn't defend himself. But
So are we saying I guess it came back to him like
karma.
Karma hit him.
Karma, yeah, karma got
Oh my god. Yeah, I thought that was weird. I need to find that. I want to know exactly what happened here. Let's see. Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck? Hadn't he been through enough? Poor Rick Allen. During spring break. Oh, let's see. Oh, he was okay. So okay, he was attacked by a spring breaker in Florida, of all places, right? Florida, good Florida. All right. Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen suffered a head injury after a 19-year-old spring breaker allegedly attacked him outside his Florida hotel. Max Edward Hartley, an Ohio resident vacationing in Fort Lauderdale, was hiding behind a pillar before he ran full speed toward the 59-year-old drummer, according to the police report. And then, of course, they'd say Allen only has one arm. We know this. Wow. Allen was standing near the valet area of the Four Seasons Hotel smoking a cigarette, and he suffered the blow. He was knocked to the ground, and his head hit the cement. Ooh. Wow.
So the guy was out to get him, I guess.
I think he was just a stupid spring break kid just doing stupid shit. He didn't know who he was. A 19-year-old does not know who the Def Leppard drummer is. No. It wasn't me. It was our man.
But what kind of guy, 19, 29, 49, 89, attacks a man with one arm in the first place? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm Billy Badass.
I knew who he was.
Guy's ass.
I really don't. What'd you say, Paul?
I'm Billy Badass. I'm going to attack this one-armed man.
Yeah. Let me pick on this old man smoking a cigarette. But yeah, when I saw that story, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So now it makes sense. The kid was probably fucking drunk too.
Yeah. CCW, my friends. CCW. Because I'm getting older too. I'd rather be packing. I don't have time to mess around with young guys who want to beat my ass. I'll just I'm armed. Screw you.
Oh shit. What do you have? What are you packing? Just a knife?
I'm gonna use. It seems to be the weapon of choice because it worked on the plane. I'm gonna carry a box cutter.
Nice.
You can do a lot with a box cutter.
He hides that arm really well. Yes, he did. Apparently.
Hey, but with one arm, he can drum. Them feet. He does some wonderful things with them feet. I mean, it was sad he lost his arm.
Yeah.
Lost him, the 80s. When the 80s. Yeah, he was drunk, so it's kind of his fault. But the 80s weren't good the 80s weren't kind to some rockers. Cliff Burton was killed. Randy Rhoads was killed. It's like, damn, they were just,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah. The drummer, I can't remember his name, but the drummer of Hanoi Rocks, the one that Vince Neil killed in the car accident, he died. It's like, damn.
Yeah, we lost a lot of musicians at that time.
Yeah, it was weird. Hey, we're rich and famous. Let's end our lives. Well, one of them was the I forgot what was wrong. Randy Rhoads died in a plane crash. And then I don't think Cliff Burton's bus accident was their fault. I don't think they were drunk or anything.
No, it was black ice. You don't remember seeing that behind the what is it, behind the music when they had Metallica and they talked about the black ice when the bus hit the black ice and then the bus crashed and then they were out there like, what are you talking about, black ice? They were like, they were like,
I was watching,
so they didn't know what that was.
On Showtime, there's a documentary on Dio about his life, and as everybody knows, he was in a band back in the 60s and stuff. He did the typical music of the day before he got into the metal scene, and which wasn't existing then. But he was always a singer, and they were touring and they were driving, and a drunk driver hit them head on. And early in his career, it was in the 60s, and they got hit head on. He almost got scalped and everything. I was like, holy
really?
Shit. Yeah. So there's another musician that a lot of musicians died when it's, beyond the whole drinking and shit. There's a lot of them have died in accidents. Like, fuck.
That's crazy.
Don't be a musician. Don't be a musician. If you really want to be a musician, download Auto-Tune and just, do some, Friday stuff on YouTube. You'll be safe.
I was, I have Snapchat, so I like to see like the spring break areas, what people are doing in different parts. And all these people are just at these music venues, and it's just a guy behind a freaking table, and he's like that, and everybody's going crazy and stuff. And I was like, that's not a musician to me. I'll probably get some shit for that, but that's fine.
Okay, you think you're gonna get some shit for? I'm gonna get shit for this. There's one of them DJs. That's the lady. She does the whole show topless. I'm there, man.
I'm yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, her boobs are just It's like, oh man, play that music. Play that music.
You're gonna be front row center.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
I want to feel that boob sweat hit me.
Greatest singer of all time, Ronnie James Dio. Fight me. Mahoney says, fight me. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know what it is. He just has that, especially like when he was with Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. I love that song. That whole beat and everything, and then his voice, it just makes that fucking song. It's great.
Documentary had me in tears there at the end. This
really?
Guy struggled. He was in, it's on Showtime. It's called Life and Times, I think, of Ronnie James Dio. It's on Showtime. So if you have Showtime or, but it starts off showing, all the different phases, and he went through a lot of shit. He was in, their early band, Elf, was founded by the guys from Deep Purple. And then the guy from Deep Purple formed Rainbow. And so he went with Rainbow, but the guy in Rainbow wasn't getting, he wanted to be, he was big in the UK and Europe, but he wasn't hitting it big in America. So he ended up getting rid of Dio and making more pop sounding music for Rainbow. So Ronnie left them, and then he went to Black Sabbath. That didn't work out. And then he did his own thing, and then hair metal and all that died from grunge. And, they showed, he kept a straight face. He said he would go perform in clubs in front of 40 people, and he didn't care. And they said he did not ever phone it in. When he did a performance, whether it was 40,000 or 400, he sang his ass off. But it just feels, I just feel sad, because he struggled so hard, and then to have to die the way he did and all that, it's like, it was sad.
Yeah. We'll see you, Mahoney. He said he's got to run. All right, bud. Probably, have a good day.
That motherfucker works too much.
I know. Well,
I'm surprised he's not. He walks everywhere, and he takes a train. I'm sure all the working he does, he should get himself a Mercedes. That's all I'm saying. He works a lot. As always working.
He's a producer. He got on. He's always going to these projects, and he's like a producer on another one. So he's got to keep them credits going. I forgot what the latest one was. If he's still listening, he'll tell us. And then another Facebook user, hey cuz, what up? What's going on? Welcome to a Sunday morning. with us.
All these people are down incognito. It's like,
I know. I don't know why it's doing that, but that's fine. And said it again. Okay. So this next story, I thought of you. We shouldn't change up the format, okay? Because the old show that we used to do, we always had something to do with porn. So we got this one. Pornhub moderators have to review 700 videos per day. 700?
Dude, my arm would hurt.
Yeah. What? From the clicking of the mouse, right?
Oh, no.
No. Yeah, it said, golly, 700 videos a day. You'd think it'd be more. I guess they divvy them out with moderators. But it said a Pornhub moderator revealed how many videos they were tasked with going through per shift. Wow. And of course, they have to go through and get rid of certain content. Let's see. As Netflix explains in their synopsis of the documentary Money Shot, the Pornhub story, after launch in 2007, Pornhub enabled erotic content creators to reach a massive audience while the company made billions of dollars. However, at the same time, it became embroiled in allegations including non-consensual material and trafficking on the site. Ooh, so it's part of a documentary. Okay. So I guess Netflix is having a documentary on. See, there's another documentary. You can watch that one.
Yeah, Pornhub, I think it was before COVID. Everybody used to always say, oh yeah, back in 72, in 98, in 2001. Now we have, right before COVID. So, but right before COVID, they were having a problem where people were putting up videos of the people you were watching perform.
Yeah.
Were people who were in the sex trade, human trafficking. So then they were making money. So they had to crack, because some people got busted, and it's like, well, how'd they get caught? Oh, they were putting videos of their victims on Pornhub. And then some people were sneaking,
Right.
the underage stuff in there. So it got really out of hand over there. And because I was watching a trailer for the documentary, and they said even when all that stuff was happening, some stuff was still flying under the radar and was still up, and it took them a long time to get certain stuff pulled down. But I don't know if I'm going to watch the documentary, though. I don't know if I really care about the history of Pornhub. I mean, yes, I love my pornography, but I mean, pervert A and pervert B had an idea. I mean, I don't see how it's, how interesting it would be, except for like maybe the controversial stuff. But then again, it's like, I don't know. I'll have to get back. I'll have to get back to you on that if I've watched it.
Well, we got our guest. Hold on.
Very unoriginal name, though. Very unoriginal name. Money Shot, of course.
Here's Mind Jack's own Joey T joining us this morning. How's it going, sir?
Good morning, my rays of sunshine. You guys are killing me. I'm like, oh my God, I want to talk about Def Leppard, Cliff Burton, and Pornhub.
It's about time.
I started having computer issues. What's that?
I said this is a high class show. Highbrow.
I'm cooking breakfast. You guys start going off. I'm like, all right, I'm almost done. And then I was having trouble signing into my computer. I'm like, a
bunch of shit. Just a bunch of shit.
Cliff Burton was murdered. Pornhub is a CIA asset.
Oh my God.
Got it out.
Right out the gate.
Sure. I'm sorry. I'm hijacking your show for a minute. Nobody knew who Metallica was before Cliff Burton died. It's the human sacrifice. All of a sudden, they put out On Justice for All, one of the biggest albums ever, and they continue on to be one of the biggest bands ever.
Wow.
And
it could dude, Lars, you blew my mind. Because I never like
that. Trust me, it's new to me. I've been a big fan. I found out about Metallica. It was after Burton died, but it was before Injustice for All. So I was probably 13. So I bought the tale. And then as the years go on and you hear about this nonsense of, having to do some kind of sacrifice to gain success, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I mean, he was disposable per se. I hate to say that about a human life, but to those guys, it was Lars and Hetfield's band. It still is. So,
well, I will say, if anybody listens to Grandpa's playlist, they know that Lars Ulrich is the bane of my existence. I cannot stand the man. That's where I would disagree with you. It's not Lars and James's band. It's just fucking Lars's band. I think Lars would fire James in a fucking heartbeat if he did. So I can't stand Lars. So when we used to have our little back and forth about, the death of Kurt Cobain and who did it, if Cliff Burton was murdered, yes, Lars had him killed. I will honestly believe Lars is evil incarnate. He's terrible. He's evil. And this isn't just me saying it because he killed Napster. Because after Napster died, you could still get your stuff. He didn't kill it. I just think he's a rotten individual who only cares about himself. And it's just, what bass? I never hear any bass in their albums. It's all drums. He's a prick. Yeah. He's a prick.
And especially after they let Newsted in, they definitely tuned it down. But now I'm going to have to go with Hetfield's just as bad, because I remember when Newsted left the band, he immediately put out an album with a band called Echo Brain, which I got, and it was way more mellow than what Metallica is.
Yeah.
And, he was interviewed, and he's like, I had other things I wanted to do, and those guys wouldn't let me. They were like, no, you're in Metallica. And then Hetfield goes out and he starts doing stuff, making music for the South Park movie. He's like, what's that? He's like, so, he's like, I was never felt like I was accepted into the band. And, I did my time. And
well, they also gave him a whole bunch of hell too, from what I understand. If you watch that Some Kind of Monster documentary, I have that DVD, and watching it, James almost did get kicked out. Really? Because of drinking. Yes, it was so weird to watch it, because first off, let's just get it. The elephant in the room. Yeah, Saint Anger is their most horrible album besides Lulu. Lulu's horrible, but Saint Anger was terrible. Mm-hmm. But it also shows, because when you watch the documentary, you get to see why it was so terrible, because they fought through the whole thing. The album almost didn't come out because they were at each other's throats.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't care about Metallica at that time, so I didn't watch it. But you recommend it?
If you're curious on how Metallica almost like just disbanded, mm-hmm. and all the shit that James was going through, and then also they talk about Jason Newsted a little bit, and if you're interested in it, I would say watch it. But I watched it a long time ago. I only watched it one time. It wasn't like the greatest documentary ever where I had to watch it again. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting.
It's not like that Pornhub documentary.
No. I just they're like a new generations. They're like, they're like Kiss now. They're corporate Metallica. I mean, and I think they have egos are terrible. Well, we're the first band to ever play Antarctica. Who fucking cares? No one was there to watch. The aliens can watch you from anywhere. They didn't have to go to Antarctica to watch you. And it's like, when they did S&M, I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool concept. I like the orchestra and all that. Then they did it again here recently, S&M 2 or whatever they called it. It's like, okay, now you're just a bunch of fucking prima donnas. Once is enough. You ain't got to do it a second time. I don't like this new album. I get it. James's voice isn't going to be like it used to be, and you have to change up the way the songs are. But I'm just, I listen to old Metallica all day long, but the new stuff, they can keep it. Fuck them. But I'm an honest person. Like, I love Kiss. I think Kiss is a great band. I love some of their stuff that other people don't even love, like Music from the Elder. Great album. But if you sat me down and said, well, what do you think of Gene Simmons? He's a fucking prick. And he would probably tell you he's a prick. So at least Gene Simmons admits it. Lars will never, I'm a prick. Yeah, he would never admit that he's a prick. But he's a prick.
Lars is such a great guy. I am one of the finest people on the planet. Bow down before my drumming skills.
I'd rather hang out with Justin Bieber than Lars.
Oh, man.
At least he would bring me some Tim Hortons. I just don't like Lars. I just can't stand him. money went to his head and he turned in. Like I said, he's Gene Simmons of a new generation. He's a dick.
Yeah, I like that comparison. Never
I
thought
agree.
about it, but it's spot on.
I think it is
Hey,
too.
he's not the first dick in music. It's both me. I found out the other day about Joey T. You know who else was a massive prick in music? Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
He'd
I
have
could
your
really
shit. He'd have your shit broken.
Oh,
Fuck with.
Well, he had mob ties, so yeah.
yeah, he
That's
didn't
why
mess around.
No.
I talked to a guy, and I think he was just an old music fan. We were in Wildwood, New Jersey, and I was just walking. I had my headphones when he stopped me, and we just started yapping. He had to be like around 70, and he started talking about Sinatra, and he's like, he's not even the best singer out of Hoboken. I'm like, who's the best singer? He's like, Jimmy Roselli. I'm like, never heard of the guy. Who is he? He's like, super talented, Italian descent. So he's got a mixture of music, singing in English and Italian. But he's like, he was so good, and Sinatra was so scared of him. Sinatra had his career crushed.
Really?
Yeah, and
Damn.
you can find he's got a couple albums on Spotify, and the guy was good. He was real good.
Holy shit!
But it was like that same era, that same sound, and yeah, it was one of the. It was a random thing. Like I haven't heard anybody ever speak Jimmy Roselli's name since. And I'm like, this is the weirdest conversation. Like, why did this guy stop me to start this conversation? And I'm like, well, Roselli's dead, but he's got a new fan. I like him. I still like Sinatra.
Yeah. When the guy's sitting at the chair, I like this Frank Sinatra guy. He's never gonna he's never gonna have a problem. He's gonna have smooth sailing his whole life.
Well, I mean,
I like Bobby Darin too.
And Frank Sinatra getting involved with the mob and everything. I think a lot had to do with, because that was during the time when Vegas was just becoming a thing. Where they were trying to get people to go and stuff. They're like, it's out in the middle of the desert, and Frank Sinatra was probably the biggest act you could get. So they were like, okay, let's get him, and he's going to perform at the casinos, and then it just grew from there. So really, I think the entertainment of that time really helped Vegas become what it is, other than the gambling and prostitution stuff. But
yeah, it's funny. I just heard this story. I forget what I was listening to. It was one of the local radio stations here in Philly, and they were like, some comedian. Damn, who the hell was there? I think it was Bert Kreischer, and he was just telling a story. He's like, I just heard this story about Don Rickles. He's like, where Rickles was in Vegas with this girl, and Sinatra was there at the same, eating at the same place, and Rickles goes over to Sinatra and is like, hey Frank, this girl, she's a really big fan of yours. He's like, when you get a chance, can you just come over and say hello? Frank's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem, Don. He comes over, Sinatra comes over to the table and goes up to Don and it's like, hey Don, how you doing? He's like, Frank, don't bother me right now. Can't you see I'm on a date? And shoot him away.
that's a player move.
That is such a player move.
I wanted to bring this up, Joey. We're going to shift gears from entertainment and everything. But what do you think about all this stuff going on in Paris? I mean, look at this.
Oh, I don't know.
First off,
streets.
Before we get into anything, I want to show you how dumb Europeans can be. It's TONS. It's TONS.
Yeah.
I don't. Look. This is my problem. I know they spell things different over there, but when you're an American writer, don't be like Lars and spell it like the fucking French do. You're an American. Yeah. Spell it the way you write it. Don't be, I'm going to try to be fancy. TONNES. Fuck you.
Well,
you know what I mean?
They're on strike. They're on strike apparently. And I mean, Paris is another country where you're starting to see people retaliate against like law enforcement. I don't know if you saw any of this, but it's very crazy right now in Paris.
Yeah, I caught some snippets on Twitter of videos, but I'll be honest with you, I really didn't read anything about it. I don't know what they're mad at. And as far as the sanitation thing, I've seen that. And I've seen sanitation workers strike in Philly, and it gets even more disgusting than it already is. So I don't know if that has any connection to the riots and whatnot.
What they're protesting is that Marcone guy wants to raise the retirement age.
Yep.
But he only wants to raise it by like 2 years. You know, like here they raised it by like 5 or 6, but I think he only wants to raise it from 62 to 64. And they're having a fit. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't comment for whole on what's going on because I don't know what difference that 2 years would. The way my stupid head works, I'm like, well, what's 2 years? Who fucking cares? So I got to work 2 extra years. But I don't know. There may be more to it than just what we're being told. But I mean, it seems like kind of extreme for just a 2-year change. But like I said, I'm not French, so I don't know.
Dude, well, if I hit my 60s and they're like, you got to work 2 more years, I'm going to be pissed. I'll be 49 in May, and I'm done working now. I've had it. I'm like, you get one shot. You get one shot at this human experience, and it's on to the next thing, whatever that is.
That's the good thing about America. They love that word grandfathering. So if they did change the retirement age, they'd be like, well, if you were born before 1981, you can still retire at 60,000. But if you're born after 1981, you have to wait till you're 72. So at least because me and you are already old fuckers already, we're fine. We can retire at 67 like we're supposed to.
No, I don't want to retire at 67, dude. I want to enjoy some time.
Well, retirement at 67 is just to collect your government check. If you have a 401k or a retirement plan where you work, you can retire sooner. But if you don't, then you got to wait. That's why why do you think everybody wants to be greeters at Walmart? Because even that Social Security check you get at 67 is not enough. You're gonna end up living with your kids if you don't have some kind of retirement plan.
Yeah, but see now there's the bullshit that drives me nuts. Like they've turned us into, like they say there's no more slavery. Yes, there is, because if I decide to not work, I don't have a house, I don't have a car, I don't have food, I don't have.
Yeah,
right, like you have to work. You are a slave, and I hate using that word because I always feel like it's going to bring heat somewhere, but it's 100% true. And I think I'll call it a debt slave. How's that? It's a debt slave.
Yeah,
you're always going to keep going. Like, and I don't why. And I think I've preached this before, whereas on other shows, like you get one shot at this. You get one shot and you spend most of it working. Or if not, like you're 5 years old and it's like, sit behind this desk. I know you're filled with energy, but sit still and listen. 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 3 is 5. Like, I don't know, man. I've said it a billion times. We're doing it wrong. So if those people are striking for 2 years, good on them. I've supported it wholeheartedly if that's the case. But I'm not familiar with what's going on.
And you work hard all your life, but everybody above you, the higher you go up the ladder, the less they work. Yeah. But the more they make.
Yeah. So. And same with the company I work for. You know, it's weird.
And you're right. We are doing it wrong, but you know, we can send, you know, all this money all over the place. But my thing is, why aren't we need to take care of the veterans. We need to take care of, you know, people that have, you know, done their job to protect us and all that. We need to take better care of all those people. We really do. And we don't. And then, like you said, why is it so high? 67. I mean, Jesus Christ.
How many people do you know that didn't make it to 67?
That's what they're on. I mean, it's crazy. It's just so insane.
You continue to pay your taxes, and then you're not going to get a chance to collect it because you're dead. Because, like, I mean, I know the standard age of living or the average age is higher than 67, but you've paid, you know, most people I know, at least where I grew up, we all started working when we were about 16. Some were a little younger, some were a little older, but for the average group of like my friends and people that I worked with, that's about the age we all started. So you're going to tell me you got to work 52 years, paying taxes and Social Security for 52 years, and then, or no, 42. 42, no, 52. But sorry, Jack and audio math, we're terrible. my God, why can't I do that? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But you got to work a long time, and you might not reap the benefits of this government collecting your money. And you're talking about taking care of the vets and everybody else that's helped protect this country. Again, this goes back to my theory. Like, we don't need this big country. We need to worry about our small. Well, we need to worry about our small communities. I got to worry about my neighbors. Take care of your own. Like, don't. I think if you thought smaller, you thought locally, it would work out way better than thinking globally. They take care of your area. Take care of your land. Keep it chemical free. Take care of your water. Keep it chemical free. Work together. Like, barter with people. Like, Little House on the Prairie, man. Like, it's well, I don't know. I think the world would be a better place if that were the case.
What really agitates me is you get all these executives and CEOs and stuff, and they're done and they retire. They're like, yeah, man, I retired. I did everything right. I got my yacht. I'm sitting on, $50 million. I'm set. But they still collect a Social Security fucking check. What the hell's up with that? Like, you need that extra $1,200, you piece of shit? No, you do not. Just let it stay. Let Social Security keep. There should be an income bracket. If you retire and you have $20 million in the bank and you're like 70, you do not need that check. You don't. You just don't. And you probably didn't pay enough taxes to deserve it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was interesting to see all that and why they're doing it. They're raising that retirement age, and it's a freaking mess over there. But we got cities over here that are a mess. But kind of like what Joey's saying, like, that's why I like this small town I'm in. It's a community. We take care of our own. Everything's. We kind of do that. The only thing I wish there was more of is the just like little shops. I mean, there are like little mom and pop shops, I guess you can call them. Someone will open a little boutique or something. But I like to see like the general store come back or something. You know what I mean? Instead of all these convenience stores and all that stuff, make some of that stuff come back.
Yeah.
Hey, do you still have those in Philly like they do in New York? Y'all have little corner bodegas still in Philly?
Yeah, they're all over the place in Philly. Got a few in the suburbs, and I try my best to go to the ones that I know or the independently owned. I had to have a hard time. Now I know I spend a ton of money on Amazon just because of the convenience.
Everybody does. We're all guilty of that.
Yeah, but for certain things, I do try to support the independent business owner versus the corporations. But it's getting harder and harder. They're buying everything up.
Yeah, they do. Did you guys happen to see that whole the Russians, what they did to our little drone, where they said they didn't do anything, but they did. There's video evidence of a jet attacking the fucking drone and knocking it down.
Damn, where am I? Dude, I'm missing everything. No, I missed that too.
They literally pissed on it. They literally pissed on it because they spilled their fuel. They opened up and dumped a bunch of fuel on it too. I mean, they literally pissed on our drone.
They said a video of Russian plane ramming and destroying American drone over neutral sea territories. It says yesterday. This was last week. Russia stated they had nothing to do with it. And then after the defense minister, Moscovia, shamelessly lied to the entire civilized world. Today, he did not want to answer the White House's question about who gave the order for this maneuver. And see, there's that, but I also have the video. Let me pull up the video.
You know what? You need to also find this because I thought this was funny. If you can find it, we can bring it up. But did you know that international courts have issued an arrest warrant for Putin? Did you know that?
I saw that.
Really?
Yeah. Who's going to serve the fucking thing? I mean, really? This is what I hate about the chest pumping these countries do. Oh, we've got an arrest. Who's going to arrest Putin? He'll nuke us all before any. It's like that would be if you want to arrest him, you have to go in and get him. That's an invasion.
Yeah, you'll get
this whole international court is. Yeah, like what the fuck? No, what good is it to tell the world? You're just going to make the man even more angry.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't buy it. Why did the names that get the clicks, the names that get the ratings, both have warrants out for their arrests? Putin's getting arrested as a warrant, and now Trump's got a warrant, both at the same time. I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it odd.
Supposedly next week is when they said they're gonna fingerprint him and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, before you show that video, because I still want to see this video, I'm going to say this. I am not a supporter, which everybody's aware of Trump. Don't like him at all. But so he paid people to be quiet over his fling with a porn star. I don't understand what the big deal is. I don't what as a voter, if I was going to vote for him and I knew this ahead of time, I'd be like, man, this guy's got game. I'd still vote for him. I don't understand what difference it makes who the fuck he was fucking, and paying people to be quiet. I mean, if maybe I'm just saying I don't understand the big deal about hush money. I mean, if it was his own money, who cares? If he took it from the company, maybe, but that's just a tax fraud thing. I mean, I don't understand why they're going to arrest him and do all this over. I think they're going overboard. I think it's the people that people me and Joey like to talk about from time to time. I think it's their way of trying to keep him from running again. I don't think he'd win if he ran again, but they don't even want to risk it. And I think that's wrong. And I think what they're doing to him is wrong. I don't think he should be arrested for trying to keep. I think it's bullshit. They should just leave him alone. Just leave him alone.
Well, they're not going to, because he got in. He got in. They didn't want him in, and he got in. He was not supposed to be able to get in like that. He's what a person they go to for campaign donations and all that shit. So,
and it shows you how the new people are in this world. And I hate to be that old man yelling at clouds, but get off my lawn. But people give so much shit to Trump. Oh, I can't believe they fucking made an actor an actor. He's a fucking actor. You're too young. But Ronald Reagan was a fucking actor, you asshole. So it's not like he's not the first actor to become president. And I don't like him, but leave him alone at this point. Just let him do his thing. Leave him be. And if he runs, he runs. If he wins, he wins. We lived through the 4 years. We're living through this idiot's 4 years. We'll live through his 4 years again. That's all I've said. Just leave the fucking man alone, for God's sake.
Yeah. Well,
his name gets the attention. That's all. Yeah, that's what it is.
Once Biden leaves office, I'll say the same thing. Just leave him alone. It's done. While they're president, you have every right to criticize, pick, and hate all you want because they're there. It's there. But once they're done, leave them alone. Just all this, even with Obama, who I didn't like either. Everybody, oh, Obama, he screwed it. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Everybody you need to stop looking back. You need to move forward. That's all I got to say. Mm-hmm. So now we can watch your video. I'm sorry. I went on a rant.
No, it's totally fine. I thought it was interesting that all these like leaked emails and stuff going to Fox News and how they not only they ramped up everything. That's what they did. They got people riled up, just like the regular news cycle where they got in trouble for ramping up all this all these false narratives. Fox News was I think it was like last week, like they found out like Tucker Carlson, all these people, they were, ramping up the voter fraud and all that stuff instead of really telling us what's going on. So we're just going in it blindly, we're like, what's going on? And, the voting machines are rigged and all this. So everybody's like, what the hell, but there was an email that came out last week, I think, and they were talking about it where people have lost trust in the major, news outlets, and with good reason, because they don't, report like they don't do their job. They got to do investigations. They got to do that. What they're going for now is all the, clicks and all the watches and all the likes and all that. That's their bread and butter. The more eyes you have on it. So Fox just, I thought that was interesting. Now they're under the spotlight for the shit they were pulling. And I think that's why we're doing independent media, Go ahead.
I mean, like when Trump was like, oh, it was voter fraud. If that's what he believes, then let him believe it. If you can prove it, then prove it. Just like with me, I think Lars is a fucking prick, but there's people out there that think he's the nicest guy in the world and they love him. So what should I be? Should they cut? Should the pitchforks and the torches come out for me? Because I don't think. If you believe something, then let people believe it. There's no. Why does he have to prove anything? He believes that he believes it was rigged and it was stolen. Fine, let him believe that. Maybe it was. I don't fucking know. It's just people. I'm getting really tired of everybody. This is my belief. It needs to be yours. Like what? I mean, there's things that Joey believes in that I think is like, well, no, I don't believe that. But I don't sit here and at him all day.
Yell at him.
Like wag that finger someplace else, pal.
Yeah. I mean,
don't you virtually poke me in the chest?
I'm friends with Poe, and he lives in Texas, so I mean, everything works out.
You're gonna you watch your mouth.
The stars at night, big and bright.
It's fun.
Texas.
I'm close to the deep heart of Texas. That's about an hour away from me. Yeah, it's funny though, especially when they preach that it was stolen. But also, you got to think, really, did Biden get that many fucking votes? I don't think so. There's no way. He can't be the most popular president. And I know no one liked. People started hating Trump towards the end of it. A lot of people. But that many people are like, oh, I don't like how he's on Twitter talking shit and all this stuff, or talking shit about people. And I can't, I won't buy that. I don't subscribe to Biden won that legitimately. There's no way. There's just no way.
I don't agree with all the shit he used to say on Twitter, but at the same time, I gave him credit for being a president who actually had the fucking balls to at least speak his mind. I mean, I get tired of all the runaround and double speak from politicians. Tell me the truth. I would have more respect for you for being honest. Well, we want to tax you more because we screwed up many years ago and we got to fix this. So we have to tax you more. Well, I don't agree with that, but hey, fucking at least he was honest. I don't like the double speak. Don't. They patronize. I'm not a child. Just tell me the fucking truth.
Well, that's how they all act. They all act like that. It's so funny when they do, especially the vice president. What she says whenever she's like explaining something. I hate it because she's acting like we're all kids when she's explaining it. Like it's so stupid. I'll never forget when she explained what was going on in Ukraine. That shit, I was scratching my head like, does she not hear herself? This is terrible. I mean, we know what's going on, but how she was like in front of a third grade, class, explaining what the fuck was going on. It's like, oh God, dude, this late.
Dumber than a box of rocks, man. Like I just can't. She opens her mouth, and it's cringeworthy. Like really, this is second in command of the United States of America. Like, get out of here. It's all lies. It's all. I don't know, man. I don't believe any of it anymore. And they said we all have our own beliefs. I have a soapbox to get on here, just like Trump had his soapbox to get on post. Like he can go on social media and he gets the news cameras in front of him. I'll say my piece. I think it's every last second of it's theater. Trump was an actor. Ronald Reagan was an actor. This Vladimir Zelensky was an actor. They're all full of crap. They're every last one. It's all WWE.
It is.
Hey, don't talk bad about my wrestling.
You got the finger again. That's twice.
Well, third time I'm kicked off the episode.
It does. It's funny because we're talking about our country, but look at this. I thought this was funny. I don't know if you saw. I guess I pay attention to the news more than I probably should. But last week in El Paso, a lot of Mexican citizens rushed, like they were bum rushing the port of entry, but they were ready for them. They had these concrete pillars. They were moving in. They had Border Patrol. They had they had a lot of people out there to keep this from happening, but they were rushing it. And then they had the that barbed wire fence, kind of like what you see on prisons, the razor wire. They had it all in front, and you had people, having like shirts or whatever, trying to grab it and move it so they can get in. And everybody's like, no, go back the other way. Well, anyway, so their president said this. He said, Mexico is safer than the U.S.
Oh my God.
He said Mexico is a safer country than the United States. And then it was weeks after a high profile kidnapping where those people got kidnapped over there and 2 of them got murdered. That is a weird story in itself, but they were talking to the sheriff of El Paso. They're like, what do you think about the Mexico president saying that? And he goes, I think it's silly that he said that because I think it was last year he said like Juarez, Mexico was the deadliest city in the world.
Did he really?
Yes. In the world with all the stuff that's going on over there. But I thought that was funny that he said that. Let's see. Oh God. Oh, I guess we got to answer this. Mr. Nanners, what's up, bud? He said, what would each of you do if you were president for a term?
2 girls at the same time.
That's exactly what group sex and orgies for everyone. Because nobody is ever angry when they're having sex. When's the last time somebody was miserable when they were like, this is the worst sex ever, man. I can't. No one's ever unhappy. No one's ever unhappy when they're having sex.
I don't know.
If more people had sex, more people would be happier. Look at all these. Look at all the stuffy people. I came from the Bible Belt in Georgia. All these preachers and stuff on the weekends would go down and they would preach about alcohol and this, that, and the other, and then they're the ones having an affairs and getting drunk. So it's like so. I'm serious. If I was president, this would be the country. This would be the new. I would be the new Caligula. So there you go. There you go, Morgan. Caligula.
Paul Kennedy. That's all you do.
Don't call me a Kennedy. Don't call me a Kennedy.
No,
I'd rather be a Caligula.
I don't know. I think what I would do. I'll give a serious answer. I was going to do a funny one too, but I'll do a serious one. I think I would really rework a lot of things, especially the welfare stuff. We make sure that people that are on it deserve to be on it and are not abusing that, taking care of the veterans and, training for law enforcement would go up. We'd have more of training materials for them. And, I think I would really pay attention to a lot of stuff like, case in point, Philadelphia and San Francisco, all these places, like they need to clean up their shit. They need to clean it up. And they just let it go. And it's terrible. I saw a video yesterday in San Francisco. There's 2 people that were homeless, a white guy and a black chick. They were sitting on the sidewalk, butt ass naked, having a conversation in public. I mean, what is going on? Like mental health, that would be a number one thing. I would think. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's where I would go with it. And my funny answer would be, I'd be like President Camacho on Idiocracy, like the wrestler. Yeah, I'd be like him, fireworks and flair and everything.
Why won't our flowers grow?
Yeah. Brondo electrolytes. Oh man. I'll never stop preaching.
What would you do, Joey?
I don't know if I don't. God, I would really just want to burn it to the ground and start over again. Not to be. Yeah, 100%. I don't know.
Let's start over.
Yeah. I mean, Poe, you have great points there, but I think it's too. I'm going to go back to the local thing. I think the country it's too big to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to monitor all the welfare. You're not going to be able to monitor, where this money's going. So there's always going to be. It's so big. There's going to be always some shady person that's going to try to do some self-serving interest thing, and they'll be able to beat the system. If you can get it smaller and take care of things on a local level, you'll be able to have more eyes on what is happening. So I don't know. I've never thought about, just because I hate it all. See, Nanner's is with me.
Burn it. Dude. I
hear
what you're saying. I guess you're right. Maybe just do a full reset, like go back to horse and buggy days and take the electricity and internet away. Like just shut it down and just all right, redo.
Yeah, dude. Like none of the technology is. I mean, it makes things easier. Like we wouldn't be doing this right now if it wasn't for the internet. But look at all the toxicity. People aren't using. Well, some people are using it for good, but most of the time it's just people spewing toxicity about this, that, and the other thing, and everything. I'll say what I have to say, but if somebody agrees with me or they don't agree with me, I don't care. I'm doing this because I want to hang out with my friends and shoot the shit. Like, if somebody watches or listens and likes it, fantastic. But I'm not worried about like being right or wrong. Like, I don't want to. I'm stealing this from Sam Tripoli. Like, I'm not worried about being right. I'm worried about doing right. And I don't think the system the way that it is would work. So I would. I don't know. I mean, instead of 50 states, break it down. Take some of these states and make them into smaller countries. Start there. I mean, I honestly don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't want the job. How's that?
Yeah, I don't want the job. Neither do I. Everything I just said would get me assassinated, like first day.
Exactly. So
just take him out. Taking our money.
I will. There's one thing I will bring up that it made me think about, the way of spending money and whatnot. And you brought up the military. I do find it funny that everybody on one side of the aisle made so much fun of Trump when he said he was going to create a space force, and they picked on him and picked on him and picked on him.
Oh yeah,
but Biden didn't get rid of it. Biden didn't get rid of it. He could have easily got rid of it. I think a lot of people weren't thinking they were looking at Trump and the kind of person that he is, and they thought it was a joke. But in reality, I agree with the Space Force. Yeah, it's not. People were thinking like Star Trek and shit in their head, and that shows the maturity level of them. I'm thinking more monitoring. More monitoring for space debris.
Morgan. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm having a comment, Morgan.
Morgan. I don't know if you were here yet. It's called debt slavery. We're gonna use. We're gonna be. Slavery was a whole nother thing. So Joey came up with, the debt slavery. Debt slavery.
Oh, sorry, I laughed at that. You got me. You got me, sir.
Is Space Force still a thing?
Yeah, I saw a commercial. I saw an ad for it the other day. Yeah, and I think, when I think of the Space Force, I think of monitoring for asteroids. Monitoring what kind of weapon systems are snuck up into space. I don't picture Darth Vader walking down a hallway flying giant ships, and I think that's what people were thinking. Spend more money monitoring.
They should have explained it like
surveillance, Paul. That's what we need.
That was the problem. How it was explained to us is like, we're gonna have the best Space Force. It's gonna be the greatest ever. And instead of like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna monitor this and this, and no, he's like the fantastic money's going to it, but that's fine. It's gonna be the greatest, the best one, better than anybody.
Do you realize you don't even need a weapon in space? You could create something that just drops a huge steel rod from space, and it would hit with so much force it would fuck us all up. And there's no nuclear power involved. That just gravity itself could fuck us up. So yeah, I want to know what's going on out above the atmosphere. I want to know if the Chinese are aiming, sticks at us from space. I want to know this. I want to know. I want to know this kind of thing. So yes, Space Force. I'm all down for it. Some of these people just they hated Trump so much. I don't know. I'm getting old. I'm getting old and I'm starting to hate people. That's all I got to say. I'm starting to get old. I'm starting to hate people.
There it is. Get off my lawn.
Yes. They keep fucking around up there, and it's like, we know the Earth is flat already, so I don't know why we're doing anything up there.
Dave told us. Dave, I can't think of his last name. Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Dave.
I'm trying to find this quote. It's Bill Hicks.
While you're looking for the quote, I still want to see that footage of the plane. And
the shit! Yeah. Let me bring it up here.
You worked hard to get it. I want to see it.
I didn't work hard at all to get it. Screen record. Here it is. All right. Let's see it. Let's see here.
How's that YouTube ad free working out for you?
Oh, I love it. I love that. I mean, it's helped my experience a lot better. What's up?
You watch any of the movies that I have on there too? Did you watch any of those?
No, but I did see your library that you had on there. Pretty impressive.
Nice library. Yes, thank you.
Let the hate flow through you. In Space Force. Come on. My God. It takes forever for a video to... I'm not pulling it up on the YouTubes. I pulled it off of the... Whenever I see something, I grab it immediately because I know I'll fucking forget about it. And I want to talk about certain things. I know I'm not that old, but I am forgetful. So...
We're all getting there. So, I found the quote. So here's the platform I would run on because, Paul, you're talking about Space Force and keeping an eye on China and whatever else. But if you take all that money and spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which all that money would do many times over, not one human being excluded, we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.
And I agree wholeheartedly with that. The problem is some of these other people are nut jobs who run countries. I would love for us to spend the money doing that, but we have to have a defense because we can't trust our neighbor. You know what I mean?
I know. That's very idealistic.
I would love for that. I would love for that. There's this movie I saw called Zeitgeist. It was Zeitgeist Part 2. And this guy had this whole idea of a utopia here. And I was like, man, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, we'll never have it, but that would be awesome. I'd love to have that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I got the video here of the plane peeing on our drone. Bullies. Yeah, they did. Let's see. Yeah, here's the video. There's no sound to it. But yeah, look, there's the plane coming up. Oh, I had to rewind it. Hold on. All right. So there it is. There's the drone. There's the video of it. And then here comes the jet with the fuel coming out of it. And boom, they flew over it once. And then the second time they get it. I was kind of disappointed there was no audio, but I guess we can't afford that. We can't afford that on our drones. Look at this. Well, boom, Maverick. Got him.
He got him with the chemtrails. Smoked him out.
Yep.
Highway to the
That's great.
Yeah, that was
thoughts and prayers for the drone. I hope the drone's okay.
It burial at sea. That's what happened. It fell right in the ocean and
right there next to Osama bin Laden.
Is that what happened to him?
If he was really, if that was really his body that was dumped in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
True.
There we go.
You don't spend a lot of money training an asset and then kill the asset. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
No,
he's in Guantanamo Bay. You think? You think he's there?
I think he's at NORAD. I'd love to see what's really going on in NORAD because that mountain is hollow as hell, and it's like that's the government's safe space. So yeah, I don't know.
No,
Jeez, I don't believe any of it. I was at a Phillies game when they said they captured Bin Laden, it was like smartphones were a thing, but I didn't have one yet. And all of a sudden, like the stadium slowly but surely starts chanting USA, USA, USA. I'm like, the hell is going on? I was with my aunt and uncle. I'm like, what's so my uncle, he's like the cutting edge of technology all the time. He's got the newest and the best of everything. So he had an iPhone, and he like goes on the news, and the headline was Osama bin Laden killed. I'm like, okay, but
you say so.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they know what he's been up to for the last 10 years, longer.
Did they? What I thought was funny is they're like, SEAL Team 6 went there and the helicopter first off crashed right outside.
Yeah. Like, okay, right you said the best of the best.
You know what kills me about that whole Obama thing, or the whole Osama thing, is that photograph of everybody in the room, in the Situation Room, watching the screen of them going in there, and it's like, really, you're all hovered around one monitor. There's probably 20 screens on the wall, but no, we're all. It's like sometimes when these presidents do this shit, it's like I know. All right, I need you all you guys to come together. You get the propaganda photo done right. So come on, like
gotta get that photo
like
out.
Hillary, like Hillary was there. Why is the Secretary of State there? Why did she have to be there? You know what I mean? She just oh, well, I'm going to run for president. I need to be in the photograph. Oh, yeah, come on.
Well, they want to have that picture so they can hang it next to Nixon on a landline talking to some guys on a moon.
Yeah.
It's, that makes sense.
What's funny is I would, I see these clips and everything, and they showed a clip of Buzz Aldrin. He was on a talk show. I want to say it was Conan or it was someone, and they were talking about that. And he let it slip. He's like, you weren't watching. That wasn't, he kind of let it slip. And I don't know if he was joking or what, like he wanted to make it seem like a joke, but he was like pretty much saying it was like animation that we were watching. It wasn't the actual footage.
Yeah. Well, he said a few different interviews, like things come out that will make you second guess any of it. Like he said to like a little girl who was like interviewing him. He's like, well, he's like, we didn't go back because we never went in the first place. It's like, what? Like, it was, that's not verbatim, but it was something to that effect. Yeah. I'm like, holy crap.
Landed on the moon.
You should read what he said about Antarctica. He said, he said some things that he goes, I saw some shit that would scare you. It's like, what? What did you, what are you talking about? And then, but then that was it. They stopped talking. I mean, I don't know if they threatened his retirement check or what, but he just, he brought some, he'll talk about, and then poop, he never brings it up again. And now he's dead. So, but I think he's dead.
Do you ever look into anything about Antarctica?
Man, I wish I could. I just find it funny that there's all these stories about stuff that goes on there, but we're not allowed to go there. You know what I mean? It's like if you tell me, how do I put this? Like with the whole election thing. I don't believe it was rigged. I don't believe it wasn't rigged because I don't have proof of either. You give me proof of something, I believe it. But when you say, oh, well, there's all these cities and shit in Antarctica. Well, maybe there could be, but are they cities that were like from the old day? Like there's cities in South America that no one live in anymore. So, I mean, did people, as somebody who believes in science, I believe that Antarctica used to be green and have trees and dinosaurs on it. So were there people I don't know. I wasn't here, 10,000 years ago. I don't know. So maybe there are lost cities in Antarctica, but are they, I hear, oh, they're active cities. Okay. Well, there's no proof. What makes me tend to believe that some of this stuff going on down there could be nefarious or whatever is because we're not allowed to go there. Only scientists can go there. And when I say scientists, yes, I believe in science, but there are those scientists who don't really, do science. But I believe there's something goofy going on there.
Yeah, I totally do, because now we go back to these countries fighting and everybody hates each other, yet for some reason they've all been able to come together and agree that Antarctica is off limits and that is a peaceful area. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you all hate each other, but that one, that little block of ice is something you can agree on. Nah, yeah, you're doing something. You're doing something weird around there.
I'm gonna annex Crimea or whatever the fuck you say it. I'm gonna invade Ukraine. Oh no, Antarctica. Don't even think about it. We'll
Don't go
telling
there.
all his don't go there.
That's where we show our peace and love to each other.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Ninner's in the chat. He said there's a monolith on. He said there's a monolith on Mars moon. He did.
Who said?
I guess Buzz.
Oh,
Buzz.
okay.
Either Buzz is telling us the truth and he got shut up, or he had Alzheimer's or something. I mean, there's no, and I tend to believe him because, look, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. When people ask for proof and you can, and the proof you give, you can tell is total bullshit. That's why there's conspiracy theories, because we didn't just come up with shit because we were bored one day. I mean, Joey doesn't sit around the couch and go, "What could I make up today?" he's going off,
or do
he's going? Maybe you do. He's going off of what what is HAARP? Oh well, we're watching the atmosphere, but what does it do? Well, it watches the atmosphere. Why?
Yeah.
Because we need to watch the atmosphere. Okay, you're hiding something.
Yeah.
You're fucking hiding something. Yeah. So of course I'm gonna. But now I'm the nut job. They won't even admit what they're doing, but I'm crazy. Just saying.
I don't get it either. I did see. Here's another thing I saw. This will be the last thing I bring up, but I thought this was interesting that it popped up yesterday. Let's see. New COVID origins data suggests pandemic linked to raccoon dogs at Wuhan market. Are we back at the Wuhan market now?
Oh God!
So it wasn't the bats. It wasn't the bats. It was.
What is that? That looks like a chupacabra. Look at that. A raccoon dog? A raccoon dog.
Looks like one of my bad photoshops. What the hell?
I know. Yeah.
I wonder that raccoon dog's on drugs like cocaine.
When are they just going to say what it? I mean, first it was the bats. Then it was like, no, it didn't come from China. But yes, it did. It came from the Wuhan market. And then it came from a Wuhan lab. And now here one day ago. NBC News Health, by the way. So that's for the fact checkers out there.
Okay, good.
Do you find it funny, Joey, that our government's always, we got to watch China, we got to watch China, we got to watch China, but then Hollywood caters to China. They make movies and they take stuff out. Well, this movie won't play there if we put that in there, so don't put that in there. Why?
Yeah, is there a black person in it? Okay, we'll put them in the back of the poster. Like,
yeah, we sure for a country who doesn't think. That's why I think this whole government stuff is bullshit. If we hate China so much, why do we we don't want to hurt their feelings? Let's make this movie and do this so we can
and do business with them constantly.
Why do you care? Yeah. So yeah. If you don't like China, why do we care?
Look at it. Look at almost everything you buy. It's made in China. So yeah, it's all lies. It's got to be us versus them.
I mean, imagine
love versus hate.
If all this stuff made in China, if we started making here, this country's economy might get better. I'm just saying.
Oh my God,
it could, but that's the thing. If you do it here, if you had a factory that made like the hats that we're wearing, okay, you have that in China. They don't pay those people anything. You do it in the United States. We want a 401k, we want insurance, we want all this stuff, and that's why over there, especially with with everything being made, it's cheaper labor. That's all it goes down to. It's cheaper labor. That's why a lot of our car parts and stuff, there's factories in Mexico that deal with that. All these big companies, they take them to other countries, and it's because it's cheaper to make.
So it's actual slavery over there.
Pretty much.
It's messed up, man.
Dude, what blew my
take care of your own.
What blew my mind was I forget the guest. He was on Joe Rogan. And he was showing the cobalt mines, and the people that are down in there. You see like thousands of people down in those cobalt mines to get the material so we can have our phones, our computers, and all that stuff. They have so many people, and the big corporations say, no, there's nothing like that. But this guy went undercover, and there's actual video, and it has all these people down that cobalt mine just digging by hand and whatever utensils to get the material, because that's how they make their living, so they can, eat and everything. It's insanity.
And it's like this situation. We need to be energy independent. Okay, well, let's drill in some of those desolate areas of Alaska. No, we can't do that. Well, then how are we going to be independent? Now we build these electric batteries that are completely the entire bottom of the car, that if they ever cracked and got wet, the car would explode. So let's do that. Well, what do we do when the batteries are no good anymore? Oh, we send them to China. Like our enemy is working with us to take our disposal. It's like, I don't but yet, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, I'm a nut. But there's a lot of stuff going on around here.
Stop questioning.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you said, if you question anything or try to like, hey, this is my opinion on this, he's a conspiracy theorist and he's stupid. Why are you listening to him? And it's like, it's there, it's in front of you. You're just not looking into it. All these people, what pisses me off the most is all these people that act like they're righteous, and they got their phones and they're like, look at this. And it's like, you are judging people, but you're using something that was, and we're all guilty of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of it. Every last one of us, because it's part of our life. But don't go and try to act like you're the righteous one, because really and truly, if you were, you wouldn't be on social media saying how righteous you are. You would be on the street corner with a bullhorn or something. You know what I mean? Like you would. That's how the hippies did it. I mean, the hippies were pretty much the OGs of that, right? They lived what they practiced. But right now, all this virtue signaling and everything, all these idiots that are on the phone, look at what you're using, and maybe take a look in the mirror before you start judging other people, because that right there, you're using something. Oh, well, it's the only way I can get my voice out. Well, what do you do? We're all hypocrites. Every last one of us are.
Yeah.
But that's what drives me nuts about all this shit. That everybody wants to seem like, oh, well, we're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, we are. We are. Go ahead.
Like when all those protesters were protesting, remember a couple years ago, well, maybe it was more, maybe it was like a decade. They wanted to bring some kind of ship into San Francisco Bay or something, and it had oil or something on it, and they were like, oh no. And all those people went out there in their kayaks and they blocked the way so they couldn't get through. And the guy who ran the company goes, all those kayaks you're sitting on is made with the oil that's in the fucking ship. So, I mean, without this ship, you're not going to have any kayaks. So, basically he was like, get the fuck out of the way, you hypocrites. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like Occupy Wall Street, down with corporate America.
Well, and it's corporate America. Yeah, all these idiots that are protesting and stuff, like, we need to stop doing fracking and get rid of the oil. It's like, if we got rid of that, you wouldn't have half the shit that you have. They don't understand the process of how we get this stuff and what molecules separate, and we get to make plastic stuff and all this other shit that everybody enjoys. Hello, you can't get rid of it. There's no way to get rid of it 100%. It just won't happen. We can't have it unless they figure out some other way to do it, but they're not going to. It's too much money.
Yeah. It's so bad. I hate when with the oil thing, getting on the high horse. I hear these younger kids, I'm getting an electric car because it's so much better. I'm like, is it? Do you realize what goes into that? Come on. You still need the oil to produce what's not that you need to build a stupid electric car.
Yeah, you need oil. Yeah, what machines make those cars? You're not having some, hippie guy making your Tesla. Okay, It's machinery that makes the Tesla. What does that machinery have to have? Oh, oil. You have to oil up the machinery for the moving parts and all sorts of shit. So yeah,
it's so dumb.
It is. It's funny because no one wants to do research. Everybody wants to scream the loudest. That's it. No one wants to actually look into how things are or like what we do on our, little show here. We question everything and we talk about it and get some ideas, and maybe we learn something.
Mhm.
But for these people, it's the equivalent of the kid not getting his toy in Walmart, right? He yells and yells and yells until he gets it. This is what our country is right now. They're yelling and yelling and yelling until they get their way. And once they get their way, they're like, okay, that's cool. So now I want this change. So now I'm going to yell louder, and they'll change it because they did it last time. So they're going to do it again, to shut us up.
That's what happens when you have a generation raised on participation trophies.
Yep.
Hey, look, I showed up. Yay. Now give me what I want.
Yeah.
Work for it.
That's why when my kids would screw up, I'd look at them and go, God, you're such a fucking loser. What's wrong with you? And then my kids grew up to be strong individuals.
Hell yeah.
Strong individuals.
Tell
Dad called him a loser all the time.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, my God.
When I grow up, I want to be president. Shut up. You cannot be president. You're a girl.
You're too dumb.
You know what I mean?
You have the wrong genitalia.
Yeah.
Careful now.
I have 3 daughters. I'm allowed to make that joke.
Yeah, it's fucking with you. Oh my God, guys, this has been a fun show. Joey is right on the money. Yes, he always is. That's why we love him. Yeah.
Thanks, Nanners.
So there he is. What's going on in y'all's world? Paul, what you got coming up, sir?
Well, I got to work on. I dropped the trailer for Grandpa's Playlist, and I'm hoping to have within the next 2 weeks, my first full episode. My wife's she helps me, with all the research and everything. So she's been super busy at work, but I got her. My first one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do Twisted Sister's first album. Not their first album, but their big hit album, their breakout album. Stay Hungry.
Yeah.
Because I will. My show went away for a little bit, but I was still hungry to do it. So I'm
nice.
Now it's back. So the first one is going to be Stay Hungry because I love doing it. Even if 10 people are listening and it's only 10 people, those are 10 people I love, and I don't want to let those 10 people down. I let enough people down in my life, like my wife and my mother. I don't need to let 10 strangers down. So I definitely, hopefully the next week or two, I'll have my first full episode on Spotify. And then I also have coming up, I haven't decided which one yet, but, I got the music moment. So I still got some stuff coming. It's just slow. I'm moving slow. The leave hasn't kicked in yet. So, I'll get to work. So that's all I got coming.
All right.
Stay hungry. Love it.
Joey T, what do you got going on, sir?
There's an episode of Jacket Audio in the can, so hopefully that audio will be dropping sometime this week, where you can find on all your favorite podcast outlets, Apple, Spotify, what's the one? Stitcher.
Google. Yeah, Stitcher, Google Podcast. There's so many out.
Tony gives me crap because he likes Stitcher. He's like, you never plug Stitcher. I'm like, all right, Stitcher. I got to remember Stitcher. And I was drawing a blank. But yeah, anywhere you can find it, Jacket Audio Podcast. So hopefully that new episode's coming out soon. And where's Thursday night? There should be a Mind Jacked.
Awesome.
If everything goes as planned. So we'll see. Hopefully we missed a couple weeks too. So hopefully that gets back on track. Keep spewing the crazy.
Hell yeah. I look forward to it. Yeah, with me, it's just, of course, this new Sunday morning show, the Morning Brew. Every Sunday morning, we'll be here spewing stuff and having conversations. We do have a near do wells we're going to be doing this next week on Tuesday. Hadn't come up with a subject yet, so we're working on that. Me and Ty are. But the tavern's back in full swing. We had 2 parties already. We had one Friday night for St. Patty's Day, and then we had our buddy, our good friend Mike. He had his birthday party last night there, so we had a crawfish broil and all that stuff. So it was a good time. Good time had by all. Sweet. But yeah, that's all I got going on right now. I know we're gonna start doing what we originally wanted to do, is we're going to pick like something in history we want to talk about. I think we got what we want to talk about first, but it's not going to be a live show. It'll just be me and Tyree talking about, something in history because he's a history buff and, with our little brand of humor and everything. So, and maybe you'll learn something. I don't know, but we've always wanted to do that. So we're going to start getting in on that as well.
Very nice.
But yeah, that's all I got, man. That's all. That's it.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I love the new name. Morning Brew is fantastic. The background with the coffee beans, it's very cool. And yeah, dude, I'm glad I could start my week with you guys. It's always a great way to start the week.
Anytime, man. You want to come on? You're more than welcome. You got your chair here. I know I'm going to work on maybe getting some other people to join us every now and again, have a little special guest or something. So cool. I'll be working on that. But everybody in the group and on our YouTube and our Facebook page, thanks for tuning in this morning with us and hearing us, jaw jack about different things. But yeah, we will see everybody next Sunday right here. And of course, the audio version will be available later on. I'll probably do it tonight, get it on our podcast channel. So anyway, everybody have a great Sunday. Joey, always an honor and a pleasure to have you. And
thank you.
My right-hand man over here, Paul Rasso, of course, love having Grandpa on here. So everybody stay tuned what we're doing, and we will see you next Sunday.